Hello again, Flosstube fam, it's the Dace Man. My name is Dace, my pronouns are he, they, and I am back with another whip pile bigger than the size of my head. We're going to be talking about all the cross stitch that I have been doing through July, so I'm just going to go straight to top down. We're going to get straight into it. Alright, we are here. We are going to get started with the piece that I work on technically the most. I didn't the most this month, but it's the one that I work on every single month. I get, the progress in. Last time you saw it, it was at 77%, and I must confess, I'm actually at 79% right now. People who are familiar with my Eeveelutions know that I do 1.5% every month. But we are already on the 5th of August, so I have actually been working on this a little bit this month as well. I still have a whole percentage to put in this month, so I still will update you again next time. But for now, you can see we did quite a lot of purple. We got some pinks in. Espion starting to really show up here. We've got a little bit of eye even starting to come into the picture. We've done the ear. That's Eevee's. There's not much else to say. It was a lot of background before, and now we are actually into one of the Eevees itself, so that's quite exciting. We've still got a long way to go, but this month I will be reaching 80%, which I think is quite exciting. I am really looking forward to having 80% done. With only 20% to go, that'll be pretty good. We're on that last column of stitching now. We've got to work our way all the way down. This piece has 729 stitches down, I believe, so yeah, quite a way to go, but for now, quite happy with the progress on that. I will be streaming this today, actually, the day this video goes up, and we'll just keep plodding along. I haven't got any fears about this one. I think it's going to be good. I also have the other full coverage that I work quite a bit on, not quite to the same extent. This month on a Meeting of Tangled Paths, I finished the previous page. There is a photo of that on the Instagram. But I also got right into this page as well, which I'm quite happy about because we got this bird in. We've started to work on the bird that's coming down here with the big peacock tail. There's another bird coming into the picture. This is the only full coverage I have on 25. Most of my full coverages are on 28 count, but this one was, well, the fabric was donated to me by the person I am actually making this for. I'm quite liking how this is coming along, actually. It's every time I look at it, I'm like, it was worth putting all the beiges and the beaver greys and the greens in, because we're finally getting to a point where I'm working up a little bit of picture before we're moving into background again, which is most of this piece, to be fair. Most of this piece is just this watercolor background, and it is tedious, but it does look good when it's worked up. So that's artwork by Pueman Law. Absolutely stunning artwork by Pueman Law. I do really enjoy stitching up this watercolor. So on that note, I've got another Pueman Law, my third full coverage that I put quite a lot of energy into every month. Tangled Paths went from 22.5 to 23.75. I add 1.25 to every month, which means that this month it's going to get to 25%. That sounds scary. Alright. Onwards, we have Raven God. Also artwork by Pueman Law. I put 4% into this per month, so that went from 28 to 32% this month. I actually worked exclusively in this area here. I worked up 4%. That's just over 4,000 stitches. Kind of the same with Tangled Paths, actually. Yeah, I think I put about 4,000 and a few hundred into each one, but obviously the percentage is more because this piece is a bit smaller. I think it's about 106,000 stitches. I worked this up in 10th stitch and I absolutely despise it, but I am getting through it, and having only 4,000 stitches to do per month is really helping with that, because if you just work on it for a few days, that 4,000 does kind of come along. It's very thick, very bulky. The back is, we don't talk about the back of this piece, but yeah, I worked up a load of background. It was really easy stitching. There wasn't a lot of confetti. I don't know where, I might move over this way a little next time. I was missing a thread which I have purchased since, so I'll be able to fill in some gaps and move along. I think that will be good. I think it'd be good to get to the other corner. I think that will help spur me on a little bit. But this is Raven God, Bremen Law. You'll see it again next time, hopefully a little bit more filled in. There we go. Right, what else did we do? We did some Whip Go on Wednesdays. So Whip Go called a couple of numbers, can't remember what they were, but the numbers referred to Anne Thomas and Houses of Hawk Run Hollow. I got Anne Thomas out. And what did we do? We worked on Philippa Partridge. So you may or may not remember, this previously had Penelope Partridge, and now we have Philippa Partridge. So this is Anne Thomas. It's charted by Hands Across the Sea. It has a couple of hanging threads where the page ran out and I couldn't be bothered to turn the page to figure out where to put the next stitches, but I'm sure I'll get to that next time. This is practically my oldest whip, one of my oldest whips. It needs quite a lot of attention and I plan to give it that attention next year. Don't know how yet, but I know I want to really work on this next year. But for now, I just had a couple of Whip Go Wednesdays, and not only did we get Philippa Partridge in, we also got some of the wreath in as well. It's looking pretty good. As you can see, like, they are asymmetrical. There is, like, some difference between the two sides. There's colour differences. Like, it's not completely symmetrical, and I really like that. Oh, I also finished off the words. Previously, I hadn't stitched this "the" in and a couple of these squiggles, but they're in now. The over one words are done, and we just need to get this out again in the future and really put some effort in, because this is an embarrassing amount of stitching on such an old whip. But we'll get there. But that was our first Whip Go. The second Whip Go we had on is Houses of Hawk Run Hollow. I really like the Hawk Run Hollow series. I'm not much of a primitive style stitcher at all, but Houses of Hawk Run Hollow stands out to me. Every time I looked at it, I was really excited to one day stitch it, so here we are. This was actually my New Year, New Start in 2023, which is why I changed the old date and name there. So yeah, the stitching this month, I actually finished this first block. There was a little bit to do along the bottom here. I got it in, and then we moved on to the next block, where I made a bit of pretty fair progress for the sake of 2 afternoons, I feel. I got started on the second block with the house. I got one of the birds in, got almost this whole tree, all the leaves. It was a bit of a bitty situation with these leaves, but not too bad really. They're already in one colour. I really enjoyed working up this house because every time I put in a new colour, I could see the overall house sort of building up. I was working off of like a thumbnail colour image, like it was really small, and then the pattern is in black and white, so I couldn't really see what this house was going to look like, but as I was stitching it up I could see the colours come into life, and I really enjoyed that. So we've got some little chimneys, bit of roof. That roof's all one colour, so I kind of saved some for later. Got some windows, like I said, got a little floating bird there, and yeah, finishing off the previous block felt good because, again, this has been a whip since the 1st of January 2023, and I've only got one block. Bit sad, but now that's over, I feel like we can move on with this piece. I don't know when we'll see this again, but it does have another Whip Go call this year, so it will come out again. Then we also did some full coverage Friday. So on Fridays I usually spin a whip wheel. Sometimes I save like particular projects for full coverage Fridays. We spun the whip wheel once this month, so I do have one whip wheel project, which was Owl Faces, and excitingly again I finished the first block. So Owl Faces, is it Tidy Stitch from Etsy? I am linking all of the patterns below in one way or other, so you can find out designer names and stuff if I miss them out. I think this is Tidy Stitch. Tidy Stitches on Etsy. This piece comprises of 16 owls. They're all 40 by 40 square, so this is 1,600 stitches. And we got the first owl done. This is actually being stitched on 11 count, so the stitches are really big. I'm stitching it 4/1, so you got really nice thick puffy stitches, and I think it's going to look good as a piece on the wall, all big and blocky and square. I really like this owl. He's kind of cute. Can't wait to move on to the next one. We'll see what happens though. I don't know when that'll come back out again. That's very much only on a full coverage Friday whip wheel. But happy with the fact I got that first square done. Always nice. The next one... Oh, the next one. We need to talk about this next one. It was the Big Whips and Quickies stitch along this month. I was hosting the community stitch along, and I decided that we were going to work on our biggest whip, we were going to work on our smallest whip, or we were going to stitch a small, you know, so we're working on our big whip, but we've also got a little palette cleanser in between. My biggest whip is big, like really big, like 1.7 million stitches big. So Garden of Earthly Delights came out. There is stitching in this fabric somewhere in this fabric there is stitching. Oh, I found it. There we go. Okay, so I posted the page finish on Instagram, so you can see the page finish there, but what I didn't show you was that I also did a couple of thousand stitches into the next page. So last month I added, I think, about 10,000 stitches to this. So this started off as like a tiny corner of about 800 stitches, and I went, you know what, this is a big piece. It has over 200 pages. I need to at least get one page done. There's a theme this month, isn't there? I'm very much getting the first blocks of everything done. But yeah, we've got the first page of Garden of Earthly Delights in. We've got the little birds flying around in the back. We've got a little bit of the little tower that comes in really early on. The stitching was nice up here because it was mostly blues, and then it sort of went into minty greens. So I was nice. I was like, yeah, that's nice. And then it went a bit sandy beige, and then it stayed sandy beige for like ever. And I got to do some more blues again, and I'm gonna have to go back into sandy beige, but we don't need to worry about that. The way I am going to be working this piece up is I'm going to be doing like page by page, but in diagonals. So I can kind of bounce between like the sky, the stuff, the thing, the stuff, the sky, the stuff, the sky. So I won't be stuck in the beige strip forever. But yeah, for now I do have to work on another bit of beige. I don't know when this will come back out again, but it kind of needs to come out regularly if I am to complete it on my 60th birthday, which is my plan. Started it on my 30th. I put a single stitch into it, and I am very much planning on having it done when I am 60. Should probably crack on, really. I'll figure it out. What else did we do on full coverage Friday? Yes. So we got a little finish. We'll come to that in a minute. We got a finish. So naturally, we did a new start. And Unconventional X Stitch has Contessa with Squid now, by Omar Ryan, I think is the name of the artist. Might be Ryan. So I got a start on Contessa with Squid. Contessa with Squid has a little bit of 310 background, so I tent stitched that bit in because as much as I don't care much for tent stitch, for a bunch of 310 background, I would rather practically double my speed on that. There is actually a little bit of 3371 in there as well. But yeah, I don't know how far in I got on this. I can find out though. Bear with. 0.89%, 1,672 stitches. Oh dear. Yeah, I finished one and then I started one that was about 5 times the size. But yeah, I decided to tent stitch the background because it's just black. You're not going to notice that. when I get to the more lighter colours, I will full cross the rest of the stitches in. But Contessa with Squid is wonderful artwork, and I've had my eye on it for a long time. As soon as Unconventional got hold of it, I was like, I'm having it, let's go. So I had the community from Ko-fi and my subs vote on a new start. They wanted Contessa with Squid. They got a big black square. That is it for all of the like monthly stitching, the whip go, and the full coverage Friday. But I also have our special long dogs. I have not forgotten about our special long dogs. Ooh, we have got tiny long dog on 56 count. It's Sanssouci. I'm stitching it in a fine sewn thread. It's a nice deep purple. I have it here. I'm stitching it on a kind of powdery pink linen. So where did I work on this? We did a lot here, basically. I was going across in big long rows, backwards, forwards, got to where this triangle goes off, or the diagonal goes off, and decided to just kind of hone it in and work on this triangle for a bit. And then my thread ran out, and I realized I was running down the page quite a lot. So I decided to start a new thread up here to get a little scene going in this section. That's where we're going to be working on for the next little bit of time. I actually got this piece from 54.22% to 57.93% this month. And the community stitches this by redeeming channel points on Twitch. So as far as I'm concerned, they stitched it, not me. So they got a good more than 3.5% in this month. And I think we can all agree it's an interesting project. I really like working on it because I only have to do 30 stitches at a time. It feels like I don't stitch on it at all. There we are. That's Sanssouci right now. Tiny long dog. But it's got nothing on the beaded long dog, does it? So we better have a little look at that, because I have been razzing along on this. So I can't tell you everything right now, but I am really excited to get this piece finished because I have another beaded project planned. So I can't start that one until I finish this one. So here we are, the beaded long dog, Infatuation. It is a peccadillo, so it's only small. It's got about 9,500 stitches in it. And I have stitched it entirely with Delica beads and Nymo thread, and when the light catches it, those silver lined beads glisten really, really nicely. It's definitely a showpiece. The flash is just mesmerizing. Look at that. So I think last time you saw it, I was kind of halfway through this motif here. This month I've kind of powered through a fair amount. I've done a little bit of this motif to finish it off. Then I got back down here. I got this medallion, almost the whole of this medallion minus a couple of stitches at the bottom. And I'm nearly done with this medallion as well. All that is left to do on this, I say that, there's still quite a bit. We've got another pair of motifs here, and then another 3 medallions, just like there is at the top. I actually got this from 35.62% to 59.97% this month. I'm just going to show you the flash again because look at that. Wow. It's very cool. It's a very cool piece. I actually genuinely enjoy looking at it. It's just so... It also feels fantastic to touch. I'm highly recommending beading a project. I went to the Midsummer Stitch, the virtual retreat, and we talked a bit about beaded cross stitches and what would make a good beaded cross stitch. And I really hope I've planted some seed beads, and some people start picking up some more beaded projects. If you work on a beaded project, like, tag me on Instagram or in your, like, mentions, because I want to see more beaded projects, because they are, like, I don't know, they're just they're special. They're very special, and I want to see more of them. And I want to start my next one already. I've even got a plan for one after that, but we ain't even going there yet. Alright, I have some finishes. We're going to talk about finishes quite a lot for the next little bit of time. My first finish was the Quickie from our BWAQs and Quickie Stitch Along. I stitched a very quick Quickie, and I also sewed it to a bag that I use frequently. So I stitched the Disability Pride flag. I did not use a pattern, it's a square. I chose the colours and just ran with it. It's really important to me that at the end of Queer Pride Month, when all of the rainbow flags go away, July is actually Disability Pride Month, and I expect to see like Disability Pride flags. And I don't. And it makes me a bit sad. All the corporations rainbow it up, and then as soon as Disability Pride Month start, they just take all the rainbows away, and we don't really hear very much about any efforts that are being made with, regarding accessibility, and it's not great. So I've sewn this to my bag in the hope that maybe it'll start a couple of conversations. Maybe you didn't know it was Disability Pride Month, you do now, or it was in July, and it will be again next July. But disabled people exist all year round, so do your best to make things a little bit more accessible here and there if you can, especially if you're a big corporation. Tesco, turn your lights down. Us autistics, we don't like the bright lights and all the beeping. Like, shush in your shop, and not just for 1 hour a week. They won't listen. They don't care. But yeah, Disability Pride flag, cute little thing. And like I said, hope that starts some conversations. Hopefully, Disability Pride Month, gathers a bit of momentum over the next couple of years, the same way Pride kind of did. And we start seeing this flag more and more and more. It does have a lot of representation in this flag. It has a lot of symbolism. Look it up. It's interesting. The designer really thought about all the individual elements and what they mean and where they're placed and all that sort of stuff. So go have a little look at the Disability Pride flag. Have a little look at, what you can do to help out your disabled friends, family, people you're just walking past in the street. You never know. You might be able to just make their life a little bit easier. Mostly by listening, honestly. Just listen to us and understand that we might be struggling a little bit with things, And also, disabled people, very valuable to society. They're very valuable as individuals, and definitely not to be taken for, or just... we're not taken for granted. It's just ignored. Like, don't ignore disabled people. That's what I'm gonna go off the old high horse now. Just I really liked stitching this flag. It was small, it's cute, and I've turned it into a decoration. So that was that. Now, the finish we have all been waiting for. The finish that I showed off at the Midsummer Stitch and got a lot of comments on. A lot of comments. I was not expecting so many comments. Now, I have laced it to a board, and I have to lace it a little bit better yet. I have to do a bit of manipulation. But here it is. Mini Octo. Fully finished. Well, the stitching's finished. I haven't got it in a frame yet. Mini Octopus. Mini Colossal Octopus by Unconventional X Stitch. We are looking at a finished Kraken munching on a boat. I stitched this on 40 count, 1/110 stitch, and I'm glad to see the finish of it. I really am. I'm trying to manipulate it, even just like sat here, because the way the tent stitch kind of warps the fabric a little. I need to play with the lacing to sort of straighten some of this out, and then I'm gonna be cutting the mount board for the frame as well, to kind of cover up just the edges so it doesn't look wonky in the frame. I'm actually giving this as a gift to a friend, so this will be the last time you see it. I'm going to be framing it up and shipping it off, so to speak, pretty much instantly. But I know we've been waiting for this finish. I worked quite hard on it for the last couple of months. You know, I've had it out every 3 weeks, and I've got really hard on it on full coverage Fridays, which is why I haven't been spinning the whip wheel quite as much. But I think it was worth the sacrifice of the whip wheel because we have got a finished mini colossal octopus, and it looks really, really cool. I hope you like that, because I like it. I got a lot of comments, and I really appreciated all the kind words. It was really nice to hear people just bigging up the cross stitch. There he is. Mini Octo. And that's why I got to start Contessa with Squid, you see. Yeah, I've got to do a better job lacing this round the back, get it nice and tight, manipulate it so it looks a little bit more straight, whack it in a frame. Give it to my friend for his birthday. Right, so that is that. We're going to talk about finishes a little bit more right now, because the community has stepped up. I have given people the opportunity to have their finishes shown on this video right here, and people have opted in. People have opted in. We have got some finishes from the community that I am here to show you all right now. So Nonanara started us off with this incredible Owl Forest piece, Star Dragon, started in May, finished in July, using the Owl Forest thread pack, and let me tell you, the color of this red thread is just, it's so good up close. It looks so nice. I really like this piece, and I watched it get stitched up almost from the very start all the way to the end, and Nonanara worked really hard on it, and I think it was really worth all the effort. It looks really good. Chocobo did Chocobo did her very own project bags. These are sewn together, and I just think they're really, really neat. Look at that. Look at that neat sewing job, the zip. Look at this cut out motif. It's just wild. So we've got a Final Fantasy VII Shimmer logo and a Final Fantasy XVI Phoenix and Ifrit, apparently. Yeah, just look at the quality of that sewing. Look at that project bags. I don't think Chocobo sells these, just makes them for herself, but man, what a cool thing. We have Addie with Balanced Diet Kitty, Design Works kit by Cara Middleton, finished mid-July. A balanced diet is a bar of chocolate in each hand. And I saw this piece before the backstitch went in, and let me tell you, I could not tell what was going on. The backstitch made all the difference to this piece. It looks really good. It's very cute. And we have Crow, our very own Crow, giving us some Nevermore. Look at that. Look at that fabric. Nevermore Raven by Quaternion Creates from Just Cross Stitch Magazine, Halloween 2024. That fabric is so nice, and I love the way this stitching looks a little bit like lace. Like that tickles the old pickle, that does. And finally we have the General with Vintage Happy Halloween by the Witchy Stitcher, started in June, finished in August using DMC, including a toile. So I have seen this piece in person. General is my real life friend, and she stitched the orange and maybe the teal in a toile, and it sparkles, and it's so good. So those are the community finishes for this month. I have given everyone the option to put a social link in. Nobody has opted to do that, so I really appreciate those from the community. Thank you very much, everybody. Hopefully people enjoyed seeing the community finishes. I have a finish feature for myself right now, so I'm going to show you a finish that I did previously, and I have FFO'd it. I have FFO'd it. It is FFO'd. We have got Birdies Crossing, No More version 2. And if you don't like the F word, or if you don't want someone around you to see the F word right now, yeah, I might just wanna, you know, pause, minimize, take it to another room, go. So Birdie's Crossing does design some really cool cross stitches. She's got a really distinctive watercolor style, but also does a couple of these samplers and also dyes thread for Night Stalker's Calling. Did you know? Did you know that Night Stalker's Calling is Birdie, and Birdie charts things, really nice things. So I can't remember when I finished this, I think the year before last in November. Yeah, because it was my Black Sampler November piece, but I have fully finished it. I've put it in a black frame with a black mount board, and I love this piece. I've already hung it in my hallway, and it's covering up a patch in the wall where some contractors left some poly filler, so it's really, really nice. So I stitched this on 46 count over 2 using Anchor 403 and some black Petite Treasure braid, so the words are sparkly. You can't necessarily see it, but trust me, it's there. So that was my FFO for this month. Well, that's my finished feature for this month. Let me just, it will be a little bit backwards, but just so you could kind of see it in its full glory. Slightly overexposed, but you get it. I think I finished this the year before last, and it's just stunning. It's a really lovely chart, and I'm really happy that I stitched it. And the moment I get some kind of office to work from, this is going on my wall. So there we go. I'm going to go back into top down. We're just going to talk about a few more things. We are nearly done though. First of all, my crochet finishes. I did a little jolly jellyfish by Guy with the Hook. I just made a little jellyfish. It's not that exciting, but it was fun. It's kind of like a little hanging ornament. You can kind of hang it up and it dangles, you know. I used a vegan yarn for this, veganyarn.co.uk. Some old colorway. It's goofy. I like it though. Once it's all like puffed up properly and dangling, it is a cute little decorative piece. And I'm going to be displaying that alongside, you may have seen it already if you've had your eyes peeled. I crocheted my very own gay fish. So my main Twitch emote is a rainbow heart fish, and we call it the gay fish affectionately. And I've actually managed to crochet my own. It's so cool. I can't remember the designer name, but I will of course put the link below. They do quite a lot of these African flower animals, and when I saw the fish and I realised I had this specific yarn combo, I was like, we're making a gay fish, let's go. And one of my viewers really kindly donated the pattern. I do still need to reinforce a few of these bits, but how cute is that? It looks like a little missile. And I want to just... that is the crochet. I don't tend to make 3D objects, and I've gone ahead and made like 2 3D aquatic things, so I'm gonna eventually display all these like next to each other, because I have to make another one of these fish, and then I need to recreate this fish again for the person who bought me the pattern, so 2 fish to come. Quite a lot of work went into that just for a little fish, but something different. I like him, he's cute. So that's the crochet. I have a single piece of lace to show you, and that is the feather that I made for Crow Stitcher. It's like a corvid feather. I just drew the outline of a feather onto a piece of paper, loaded up some bobbins, and went for it. I wonder if I've got some, yeah. I just filled it in with a little bit of cloth stitch on this side, and just a bit of half stitch standard ground on this side, a little bit of figuring out going upwards and coming back down, and I still need to stiffen the bit at the bottom just to straighten that out, but that's my lace. I was really happy with it. I have started a new piece, I just haven't done a lot of lace recently, But hopefully I'll have another piece to show you by next time. I plan to anyway. But yeah, that's about it. I know I was a bit lacking on details today. I was not really that honed in, but I just wanted to bring you the progress. The words have left me. Let's get back to... There we go. So yeah, I know this was a little bit light on detail. Previous videos, like the Whip Parade, have more information on like fabrics and stuff. I've just been life hard, you get it. I just shared my progress today. I'll be back again next month, hopefully with a nice big update on all the regular projects. And for the coming month, we are also going to be working on Fancy Ladies, Favourite Ladies for our community stitch along. I plan on working on Temptress of the Cursed Sea by Mirabella Filipina. I say Mirabella. I say Mirabella and I can't help it. Bella Filipina. So hopefully I'll have a nice update on that, and maybe some full coverage Friday stuff, Whip Go stuff, all the usual stitch and stuff. But for now, that is it from me. I am not on my game today, but I really appreciate anyone who's hung about. If you have been stitching while you've been watching, let me know what you was working on below. Thank you all for all your kind comments from previous videos. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all next time, or maybe I'll even see some of you over on Twitch. But yeah, that is definitely it for now. Thank you very much for coming by, and I'll see you next time.